Welcome to Basic Conversations. I'm your host, Brother Boston. Today, on Basic Conversations, we're sitting down with a woman whose life is a living testimony to what happens when God gets a hold of someone and refuses to let go. Molly Kelly is a person in long-term recovery, and more than that, she is someone who turned her story into a mission. After overcoming incarceration and addiction, Molly credits her faith in God with transforming her life and revealing her calling to serve others. Today, she serves as the executive director of Upper Room Recovery Community, where she leads transitional housing, a recovery cafe, and re-entry focused programs built on grace, accountability, and the belief that lasting recovery is even possible. Through faith, through community, and through purpose. Molly's work is not about having it all figured out. It's about showing up, walking it out, and proving every single day that redemption is real. And I have to tell you, this one hits a little different for me because the woman sitting across from me today is also my wife. Molly Kelly, welcome to Basic Conversations.
Thanks so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming on, little lady. I appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
So let's get right into it. Why don't you share with us? You're working at a sober living and a recovery driven environment, and I love that, by the way. And I'd like if you could just share with the people that I'm in recovery. I know that, and I want you to maybe share a little bit of why this work hits so close to home for you.
Absolutely. So working in the recovery field is not something that I never thought that I would do, being in recovery myself. So I was addicted to meth and heroin for almost 20 years. Meth specifically was my drug of choice. I went to prison in 2018 and let me go back. I got arrested in 2018 after a litany of felonies that I've had over some time. The day before I got arrested, I was looking for a rehab because I knew I could no longer live the life that I was living. Addiction is very hard. It's so selfish, and it is in a place where it's so hard to get out of that at times you think it's not possible. So the day I got arrested, I thought, thank God, I never have to do this again. I'm done with this life. I got clean. I went to jail, went to prison. I spent almost 3 years inside of Indiana Women's Correctional Facility, and then did everything I could while I was inside to change my life and worked with God, prayed, grew my relationship with God. I did every program that they put in front of me. And when I came home, I said, I'm going to keep doing whatever it is that I have to do to move forward. So I kept doing the next right thing for me. I went to a transitional house for a year. I met my husband, who is you. I moved to California for 3 years, worked in an environment that I never thought I would be in before, ever. I was on an executive team of a nonprofit. I loved it. I learned a lot, and then it abruptly came to an end, and we moved back to Indiana. So I'm from Indiana. I found this job opening for the Upper Room, and I was like, I would love to do that. My heart is with people that are in recovery or people who are coming out of prison, and a lot of times those go hand in hand, so that I can help people do the next right thing for their life so that they can be where I am, because recovery is possible. It's hard, it's not easy, and every day can be a challenge at times, but this side is so much better than the other side.
Yeah. So one thing just stuck out to me, right? You talk about it's a challenge. It's hard, right? It's hard being somebody who is just the person who is trying to keep their own sobriety in check. Now, you're on both sides of the fence now. You've maintained your own recovery, and you're also helping other people get and maintain their own. And so how is that? Like, that's got to be exhausting. It's got to be exhausting.
It is exhausting at times. I'd be lying if I said, no, everything's peaches and roses, because that's not true. I need to listen to my friend Stacy more often, who says I need to take care of my own recovery a lot better than what I do. But with that being said, sometimes my recovery is fed by the people that I am serving every single day, because I see the chaos that they came from, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness that I'm not there anymore. But then I also at times get very frustrated and very emotionally invested in what's going on with other people. So when they do relapse, which sometimes that happens, it can almost feel personal, and it's not. But yeah, it's a balance. It's a balance between managing my own recovery and then making sure other people are managing their recovery. And one thing I've definitely learned in the last 6 months as being the executive director over here, that I'm not responsible for their recovery. They have to make that choice, and then they have to walk the walk. I'm there to support them when they're, feeling a little bit uneasy or things are getting really hard, I can hold them up in that time, but I can't make them want to be in recovery like I want to be in recovery.
Yeah, I can imagine the challenges. First of all, the work we used to do, you kind of, you want to maintain a level of professionalism, but you can't help but get attached to the people that you're serving and just, because you're rooting so hard for them. And I know, we see overdoses, we hear about the overdoses constantly happening. We know they've gone down. If you look at the numbers annually, they have in fact decreased. But sometimes the way that it's a constant seeing another overdose, another overdose, it's like, show me where they've gone down. And I know you actually bring up more to me since we've gotten together that you have lost. Like it's almost feels like it's at least once or twice or three times a month that you're like, oh no, another friend died of an overdose. And it's just like so sad to me. So I know that the upper room is very involved in the community, even outside of the clients that y'all have. You have Narcan boxes. So if there's an overdose nearby, someone can come by and grab a Narcan and hopefully save their life with it. What else and how do y'all get involved and stay locked in with the community, the beats on the street? Like really checking, you've got to be involved with the heartbeat of the street, I guess, if you will.
Absolutely. So I kind of want to go back a little bit. 73,000 people in the United States died from overdose in 2025. That number is astronomical, even though it is almost 30,000 less than in 2021. 2021 seems to be the highest number that we've had in the United States in a very long time, and it was at 111,000. So we are doing something right as a country to move towards not having as many overdoses, but 73,000 people is 73,000 too many. It is still someone's family member, someone's daughter, son, mother, father, sister, brother. These people still belong somewhere. So what we are doing at the upper room to help combat overdoses is, like you said, we do have naloxone, Narcan, one outside of the building at First United Methodist Church, and then one inside of our recovery cafe. We keep the heartbeat on the local community, because of where we are located at. We are right in the midst of a lot of the drug use that goes on in St. Joseph County. So we opened a recovery cafe that is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That is for anyone that's in the community that's struggling with addiction. People can come in, we will get them to treatment, we will help them after they get home from treatment. We have food that they could take with them. We have classes, relapse prevention, peer recovery coaches that attend every event that they can to make sure that they're on hand for people to help them get the help that they need and that they want. And I personally am involved in a lot of the recovery committee things that are across St. Joseph County. We partner with people like the Partnership for Drug-Free St. Joe, which is an incredible program that helps, bring us all together so we can see what we can do more to keep people from dying from this awful disease.
Man, it's such a war. We hear the word war on drugs being thrown around so much in the media and just in general. And I don't think people, until you've actually lived it and like were a foot soldier in the midst of on both sides where, you're trying to help someone get sober and where you were struggling and battling trying to get sober yourself. Like you realize how much of a battle it really is. To me, and this, I feel it is completely and 110% a spiritual battle that is for people's souls and to keep them separated from God and from one another. And being that I just came to that realization only 7 years ago. I'm pretty much a babe in Christ. I'm not, but I am. That's one thing I know, that I can fight this fight on my knees. But when you're faced with so many losses like that, it's definitely got to be heavy. But I wanted to back up a little bit and talk a little more about this recovery cafe because it's pretty incredible. Now, I don't know if people are aware, but you don't have to make an appointment. Is that correct? Like you don't need an appointment. You can just drop in.
That's right.
What are the hours and stuff?
Yep, you could drop into the recovery cafe 9 to 4 any day, Monday through Friday. We have peer recovery coaches on site. And then on top of that, we are opening a recovery resource center where people can come in and they can do, applications to get jobs. They can apply for Medicaid, food stamps, whatever it is that they need. On top of in there, we will have classes, relapse prevention, safe people, planning a recovery plan, a safety plan, which is what everyone needs when you're trying to deal with recovery. And then you get stuck in situations that you may or may not know how to get out of. And having a plan already in writing is is a wonderful way to help you get to the next step.
Nice.
So we do a lot more, but you can check it out anytime. Come on in. It's at 333 North Main Street, South Bend, Indiana, 46601, I think. Yeah.
So that's wonderful, and we can even add some of that information into the descriptions and in the bio and all that stuff. So in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, there's one principle they talk about, and that's that they are self-supporting, declining any outside contributions. Right. What I want to know is how does it operate over there? Is it funded by the state, the federal government, the local? Is it private donations and foundations? How does that work?
Sure. So let me clarify that there are two different programs that we have. We have the Upper Room Recovery Community, which is a sober living for men and women that currently hold 46 people, 32 men and 14 women. And then we have the Recovery Cafe, which is, we're all in the same building, but it's like across the hall from my office, and they're self-funded. So how we get all of our funding is either through a government grant called the Recovery Works, and private donations and grants are everything that we work off of. And it's a nonprofit, so it's 501c3, and it can be very difficult at times to keep everything going, including the lights on in a nonprofit. So we're working on that, but that's how we function fully on any kind of donations and grants that we can get.
Fantastic. Because, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and plug your information at the end of the show anyway. So I figured I'd just start bringing it up. So we went from, you were living in Indiana, and we're just going to shift the conversation just a little bit. It's a little heavy. So we're going to back it up, and I'm going to share a little bit. I was in California running from my addiction and running from myself, I guess you could say, when I chose to commit some crimes that led me to San Quentin State Prison, which is where I went into a program that allowed, this program initially brought you and I together, fortunately, but California was probably the last thing on my on my agenda. I don't even remember how I got to California, none of that. But you being sober, you came out to California after you married this guy, me, and you head out to California. What are your thoughts? Like, as you're packed up and leaving your hometown of, what is it, Elkhart? Elkhart, Indiana, heading out to California to meet a guy for the first time in person and then get married. And then, before you know it, 2 days later, after we meet. So I want to hear about that, because to me, that's just hilarious, incredible, and inspiring. And it also shows God's purpose. Sometimes it could be the most foolish thing to us, but it can turn out to be the most incredible thing.
I will tell you, it felt really insane in my mind, but I had this peace about it that I can't even put into words. So as I was driving across the country, well, actually I flew out there the first time and saw you and we got married. But when I left Indiana to live in California, I drove. So I had this real stress that I was driving across the country by myself. Thank God you talked to me on FaceTime the whole way. Shout out to Apple. But the second thing was the peace, when the word talks about peace that passes all understanding, I honestly think that is what God had given me in that time, because we knew each other pretty well because we had talked so much, but also not really well because we had never, we were married for almost 9 months before I moved to California with you. So when I came out there, it was like being in a brand new relationship with someone I knew really well, but had to get used to living with. But I wasn't really scared because, see, it felt right. There was nothing that said big red flag. Excuse me, don't do this, don't do this. It was, no, I'm really excited to start this next chapter of my life after prison, after being in recovery for a little bit, and now here we are.
Yeah, I have to say it was just an amazing season, that whole season of California. And just getting to grow with you after we knew each other, and growing with you, okay, I can know someone, but you don't really know someone until you actually move in, until you live with them. And that's when you learn the little quirks, and the one thing that used to be so adorable becomes annoying, and that whole thing. But
You
Yeah, we
learn.
learn, we live, we love, we grow, right? That was good. Write that down.
Hmm. That was good.
So, um, the 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 fact that we're back here in Indiana, right? We have hopes, we have dreams, and I might know some of what yours might be, but I would love for you to share ideas that you have, things that get you excited for the future. What are some, like, some of those things where you say, "Hey, it might be impossible, but you know what? I'm gonna go for it."
Oh gosh, I have a lot on a personal level, but I think on the level of like recovery and what I do every day is to see more people getting clean. I think that's kind of a personal thing and a professional thing, but the more people that can find recovery, the better it is in the
Mm,
world. People in recovery are strong people because sometimes it's the hardest thing you ever did was to get clean and stay clean. But on a personal level, things that I never thought I would love to do that seem impossible at times is like I'd like to buy a house. I'd like you and I to start an entire transitional home that works off of these other homes that are
mm,
around that can help build more people up. We're not in competition for business. There is enough people that need
mm,
help. But yeah, I don't, it's right now it's a different season of life. We're with my parents who need the help that, all the help we can give them right now. And so it's been helpful. I've gotten to be a part of like my daughter's wedding and things being back in Indiana. So it's been a journey and it's a different season than it was in California, but I think this is what they call the hard season. And then the next one's going to probably be a little bit different. God always works, but I don't know what I really have like long term other than I want to buy a house and help more people. Really, God put me on this earth. I'm pretty tough. Anybody that knows me will
mm.
tell you that I'm pretty independent. I can do the things that I want to do and take care of everything on my own. I seem to think at times, but helping people is really the reason that I'm here. Like
100%.
there's been no other reason that God spared my life other than so I can share my story and tell them, "Hey, if I can do it, you can do it."
Yeah, I fully agree. So let's get on that right there, God, right?
Mhm.
Incredible. I sometimes people will ask me, "What has God done for you?" Or, Jesus. Yeah, oh yeah. Uh-huh. And I get speechless because I'm just in awe of his love, his mercy, forgiveness, kindness, joy, peace, everything that he gives to us, and the extended the fact that he doesn't give us what we actually deserve and gives us what we so much do not deserve, that mercy and the grace.
Mhm.
And like, what was your walk? It didn't just start 5, 7 years ago like mine. You've been involved a lot of your life with Christ.
So yeah, so I grew up in a church. So I was never not understanding of who God is and what the word is and the things that we believe. But to be honest, it was very surface. So I could fake it like, "Oh yeah, great relationship." But I didn't really get a relationship, like a true relationship with God until I was inside prison. When I really started to seek him. Not that I didn't know who he was before and didn't have encounters over my life, because I had had encounters where I knew he was real and there were things that happened in my life that he really stepped in and was like, "Here I am." But in my darkest moment of being inside of a prison, I was the most happy. I was the most joyful. I really felt the love of the Lord just all over me all the time. And still, even now, when it's so hard to feel it at times, I still have that relationship with him. I know who he is. I cultivated that. He's cultivated that. And sometimes I walk the other way and I'm like, "I'll be back." And, like eventually I get back around to it. But that's the walk. And sometimes it's not a straight path. It's not, no one's path is the same either. Like, it could be a little crooked, could be a little off to the left. We have free will, but I've always, like I said, known who he was. But I think the relationship grew, well, when I was inside the
Yeah.
walls.
I think the solitude, the having the lack of technology, the lack of pressures of life as far as work and bills and kids and this and that, being in a place where you can truly press into him and he can actually speak to you and you hear him because you're not distracted by all of these different pressures of the world is like that's where he takes that what was meant to crush you and break you and uses it to crush you, but also to press that new wine, right? And to really, no pun intended, but really to crush that new wine and
Yeah.
to make you grapes and poured out wine so that you can pour out onto others. Because I think since I've been home, I've made a few attempts at really trying to get back to where I was inside. And there was, because it was such a intimate, personal, I was thirsty. I was hungry for his word constantly. I
Mhm.
enjoyed and took delight in being in his presence, praying in the morning. And sometimes out here that pull from the world can like really make you feel as if like you are completely disconnected from him.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things in the world that are distractions, and inside you don't have that. You hit that right on the nail on the head on that. But out here it's being very conscious of your time. And I like to schedule everything. So I tend to schedule time to do things, like, okay, this is going to be my time to do this. And it doesn't always work like that. So I try to find the time when I can just to really pray and really get into, like, hey, I am still here. I still believe that you are the Lord, and praying. And that's how you build a relationship with someone, especially with Jesus. And it has really been the turning point of my life to believe in God and to know that He has my back and that He's
Yeah,
real.
so to put it, I guess to be more diligent and intentional with that relationship. Just like if I had a crush, when
Any
I first
relationship.
had a crush on you and started talking to you, I was intentional with every word, with every
Hmm.
single thing because I wanted to win your affection. I wanted you to know that I liked you and I wanted you to like me back, right? And so
Obviously, that
yeah,
worked.
and so I see the same. It's not that I question whether God loves me back, but am I showing him the affection that he deserves? Am I giving him the
Right.
intimacy that he desires? Am I giving the intimacy that like he has definitely got that coming. I don't even have
Mhm.
to second guess that part. But am I making that conscious decision? I do now in the morning. I get up, extra 2 hours early, just so I can read and meditate and sit and
Mhm.
listen. See if I hear something. Not audible voice, people, but like hear something. Hear from God. Meditate on His Word, and really just
Mhm.
try to spend time with him. And I encourage the listeners to do that too. Just take that time out of your calendar. It will not hurt to
It won't return void.
no, it
It
will
says
not.
it in the word that if you are seeking His face, it will not return
Yeah.
forward void,
Yeah.
excuse me. And so I've always kind of hung on to that, and I'm not good at always doing it
Yeah.
either. And I don't think I would be lying if I sat on here and said, "Oh yeah, I'm perfect. I do it all
Hmm.
the time." No, I don't. But I do absolutely try to find time when I can. I try not to make it when I can because I don't want to make it a convenience. I need to make it a point. But that's just something that we all deal with, different things
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's sometimes easier said than done. You know what I mean? Yeah.
absolutely.
So what would you say? I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead because it looks like we've already been chopping it up here, little lady, for about 27 minutes. Can you believe that? Yeah,
Oh,
for
wow.
27
Okay.
minutes. So what I'm gonna say is this. I'm gonna ask you the question that I'm going to ask everybody on the show. If you could go back
Okay.
in time and talk to your younger self, what would you say?
Oh, if I could go back to my younger self, I would tell her, "Hey, we're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Open up. It's okay to trust. It's okay to feel things. You don't have to do it all. But my main thing would be, you're gonna be okay." Because it's hard to know that in the midst of chaos. And we all go through things in life that have been extremely hard. Whether or not you're an addict or not, doesn't life has no bounds on that. Everyone goes through things. And so I had went through some pretty traumatic things in my teenage early life. And I would say we're going to be okay, and tell her that I love her,
Mm.
and I'll see you on the other side. Because see, I had to go through those things to be who I am now. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be this person. And so God wanted me to go through the things that I did. Now, granted, I made choices that got me there. But had I not, I wouldn't be sitting here today running an incredible program, helping people find recovery, being able to share my story to say, hey, you know what? I hope that people get something from it. Is it easy every day? No. Do I struggle at times? Yes. But one thing I do know for sure, I think it was worth it. I wouldn't change anything about what I went through. I might for my children's sake, or for my family's sake, but I wouldn't for who I am now, because I kind of am at a point now where I'm like, okay, this is why I had to go through those things.
That is beautiful. Well, to all the listeners, you heard what she said. Molly, if anybody wants to try to help support the Upper Room recovery community, how can they do that?
Absolutely. They can go to our website, which is upperroomrecovery.org. Check it out on there. There's a donate button. Go through there. You can always reach out to me. I'm on all the socials, and I'm on all of the website. You'll see it. So, but yeah, it's www.upperroomrecovery.org. Stop by and see us anytime. If you're in addiction and you're looking for a way out, we'd love to help you. And if you're in recovery and you just need a little bit of support, or you want to come and support other people, we'd love to have you then too.
That's wonderful. Okay, Molly. Well, we thank you for coming on to Basic Conversations. To all the listeners
Thanks for
out
having
there,
me.
you heard what Molly said. If you are struggling, please do not hesitate to reach out. If this is reaching you on social media, shoot me a text, shoot me a message, a DM, okay? And to all those people who are seeing this or hearing this on social media, please do not hesitate to reach out and leave a comment. If you need help, we can find you help. It just takes an open mouth. You have to open your mouth, and do not be afraid to ask for help, okay?
You don't have to do it
You
alone.
don't have to do it alone. Recovery is 110% possible. We are both living proof.
And so worth
very
it.
worth it.
So worth it.
Okay, so
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate
I
it.
appreciate you, Molly. And God bless you, huh? Love you.
Too. Love you.
Mwah.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for having me.